Hello, hello. It is your Astro Coach Sarah here for Wellness Astrology, this time for the moon in Gemini. This is March 5th through the 7th. This moon in Gemini is about to square everything in Pisces. So won't happen immediately. We'll have a few hours of this moon in Gemini before it starts squaring everything at the end of Pisces. But it is going to happen, I would say, ahead of all of the squares, including the first quarter moon square. So we're halfway between the new moon in Pisces and the lunar eclipse in Virgo. But I would say ahead of all of that, I don't think it'll be calm, only because this is the moon in Gemini, which kind of makes things go faster and makes information come faster. But then it's going to conjunct Jupiter, and then square everything in Pisces. And so I am going to show the chart just because I think that it's important. I know some of you kind of do better if I show a visual. So let me pull that up. All right, so this is going to start when Thursday afternoon. And basically the moon at 21 degrees of Gemini will start squaring everything up here in Pisces. And so this could be um, just be careful about information, because this could be so much info overload, but you don't even know what, because the moon isn't exactly clarification, right? The moon is illusions too, right? It's watery too. Um, I'm being in Gemini, where yeah, Gemini is information and truth, but it's a lot of water opposite that or square that Gemini energy. And so it could be one of those, like, what you think is true isn't true, and what you think isn't true is true type situations. And so and we've got Mercury in his pre-retrograde shadow. Yeah, I feel all kinds of ways about this. Like, I feel like things are going to come through that people aren't prepared for, but then whatever they think they're prepared for isn't what they needed to be prepared for. Like, it just looks confusing to me. It just feels confusing. It feels like, again, we're working with artificial intelligence, we're working with green screen, um we're working with what's the other one? Green screen, AI. There was another one that I used to say all the time. Either way, the point is that it doesn't feel like it's going to be very clear what's really going on. And I mean, that's part of the course this Pisces season, but I don't know that this moon in Gemini is going to bring much clarity. Now it could. I'm not saying that it won't, just because Jupiter's there, and is the ruler of Sagittarius, and Sagittarius and Gemini both want truth. I'm saying there's a lot of water energy that could really counter what we believe, what we are seeing. Therefore, it like diluted information, watered down information, which could mean that we're getting the truth, but it's a watered down version of it. um Either way, both mutable signs, so something's going to come out that's going to change, whatever. So I don't know. I don't have a lot of, I'm trying to see what it feels like. Everything could be just really foggy and really blurry and not clear as to what's actually going on. But again, that seems to be par for the course. I also feel like this, like I said, could just be like truth could come out, but people don't want to believe it. Again, back to cognitive dissonance, which I've mentioned so many times in spicy season. The distance between what people believe to be true and what's really true are two very, very different things. And this does not matter which side of the spectrum that you're on. This could also be like your own opinions of yourself. Like you could believe that you are you could believe a certain sort of way about yourself, but it's not true, right? Like you're so laser focused on you being a messed up, broken, shit show of a person, when in reality, you're just like everybody else, but you don't want to acknowledge that. Um, Belief systems could come into play here. Jupiter does rule belief systems, and it being in Gemini, so who knows what's going to happen there. The Pope has been in the hospital, and by the time this video airs, something may have happened in that situation. And so that could, shift things in that arena of things. And so I think it's just important to realize that we live in a matrix world, that if you really zoom out and look at it, what do you really want to be pouring your attention into? And and that could be said both for global issues and personal issues, about like how you believe and feel about yourself. And you could also have some nervous system things here, anxieties, very unsettledness about yourself, being attentive to your body. Gemini rules the lungs and arms, like pairs of things. And so, grieving could be a thing. Grieving, like something isn't going your way, or you've had a lot of people in your life pass away. You could have lost a job, you could have, like, any number of things that we could be grieving about. So the rest of us who may not be experiencing that in the moment, be compassionate, be understanding. So because I mean, here's the thing, I know people are losing jobs left, right, and sideways, but I'm also compassionate, even though, like, this was what the astrology said. And so the cold hearted, not the cold, like the cold objective part of me is like, this was astrology, this was how it was going to go. But at the same time, I acknowledge and, reflect on the fact that this is affecting people's lives. And since most of the world doesn't pay attention to astrology, unfortunately, it's upsetting to their world. And that's something that I have to acknowledge, that even though it was going to happen with the cosmos, doesn't mean that it's not affecting people in a hurtful way, right? Or that it's not affecting people in a way that changes their life you know in a lot of ways. So but yeah, so I would say keep attention to your nervous system, keep attention to whatever information you may or may not be taking in right now. It's definitely a good time probably to not pay attention to the media and what's going on, because man, Neptune at 29 Aries, that's some tough energy, because you can't distinguish what's what. It's very difficult to distinguish what is true, what is just made up to be clickbait, or to be to get you right emotionally, have an emotional reaction which has you take action that later you're just like, oh no, what did I get myself involved in? So just all right, let's see what's up with the tarot. And we're halfway to the lunar eclipse in Virgo. So some stuff could be surfacing about whatever, we're in that eclipse energy. So, you could already be very aware of what you need to let go, and you don't have to wait for the eclipse to let it go. All right, we got this is interesting, the Knight of Earth. Loyal, dedicated, honorable, kind. And then on the bottom it says, time to buckle down and act Oh, and get things done. Honor your commitments and a guardian angel. Hmm. Hmm. I mean, a lot of this Mars and Cancer energy is about doing the things we don't want to do, which could mean anything for anyone, right? It could mean that you turn off the TV or turn off the news. It could mean that you try some, you do something that you've been delaying doing. Um, but I would also say, and while this deck does not do reversals, it reads best upright. I would say that this is also like loyalty and dedication to a fault. And I've talked about that before. How loyal are you to what, we talk about like false idols or idolizing, whether it's political or celebrity or whatever, but idolizing those public figures to a fault, right? Idolizing even a social media influencer to a fault, or loyalty and dedication to a cause or to a organization or to a movement to a fault. How far are you willing to go to support whatever that is, whether it's a celebrity, whether it's a public figure or an organization or a cause or whatever? How far are you willing to go to support that cause? And I feel like there is a stretch of like, be really careful, because certainly as Neptune moves into Aries, like your idolization of public figures, causes, movements, or whatever. I mean, are you sure you're willing to fight that battle? Are you sure you're willing to fight for that person? Um, there's a lot here with that type of dedication or loyalty. And so, I think it's important to be loyal and be supportive, but not to the point where it sabotages your your dreams, sabotages your daily life, sabotages like how loyal are you willing to be, um, to a public figure, to a cause, to a movement, or even to just a person in your life, like loyalty to a fault. Are you willing to put your, romantic relationship on the line for a friendship? Um, or are you willing to put your job on the line for, whatever? And maybe you are, but I also think there's a level of self-sabotage happening here. Now, the guardian angel part of this is having faith and trusting. And that is a very important factor through this Pisces season, is having faith in something you cannot see. Go back to the, was it here that I made the reference to angels in the outfield? um, where the angels helped them out. The angels helped the angels, right? So, but they didn't help them win the championship. They had to do that on their own. So, anyway, I liked that movie, except that the Angels beat the White Sox for the pennant. And that made me sad because I'm a Sox fan. So, yeah. But anyway, well, whatever. The point is that there are angels looking out for you all the time, and trusting that something bigger is there to support you through all of the things. So, self-care, we have number 11, which is, well, connect with your crystals. Oh, gee. Connect with your crystals. Once again, if you've got some crystals, let's see what I have handy here. So I, of course, have my citrine wand. I think I have, is it up here? Well, if it is, I don't know. And then back here, I do have my amethyst rock. I actually love this one. So connect with your crystals. That one probably needs to be dusted. But connect with your crystals. Go visit a metaphysical shop if you have one near you. And honestly, it's a tactile adventure. I love going into a crystal shop because many of them are very tactile. You can touch them, and feel them and get to know them. And you don't really necessarily, I'll tell you what, intuitively speaking, you don't necessarily have to know the actual like meaning or work of that crystal. It's helpful, but you don't have to know it because intuitively your self is going to know which crystal is meant to go home with you. Your each crystal, whatever crystal is meant to go home with you, you'll just know. You'll just know, and there won't be any like you won't really care what the actual metaphysical makeup is of that crystal. You'll just know that it's meant for you. So there you go. All right, keep track of your nervous system. Sorry, I just got the hiccups, which means I probably ought to end this. So be attentive to your nervous system, keep hydrated, and pay attention to your mental well-being. Other than that, I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.